Thank you so much for watching Landumc Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. Prime Cut is a 1972 action thriller crime film that was produced by Joe Wisen. It was directed by Michael Ritchie with a screenplay that was written by Robert Dillon. The film stars Lee Marvin, Gene Hackman, Sissy Spacek, and Angel Tompkins. It's Spacek's first credited on-screen role, playing a young orphan that's being sold into prostitution. At the time, this project was considered highly risque because of its violence and a hint of a somewhat inappropriate relationship between two brothers. The film is centered around an enforcer for the Chicago mob, portrayed by Lee Marvin, as he travels to Kansas City to recover a debt. One might anticipate a gritty exploration of the city's underbelly, but the movie diverges from typical gangster narratives. It really is crafted in a manner that's pretty reminiscent of a comic strip, which incorporates both its strengths and weaknesses into it. And Marvin's character bears more of a resemblance to a superhero than a traditional mobster. The production navigates pretty familiar territory that's somewhat akin to the Steve Canyon cartoon series, featuring characters that are exaggerated caricatures, each with distinctive nicknames and quirks for easy identification. Among them is Mary Ann, a Kansas City pimp played by Gene Hackman, alongside Weenie, played by Gregory Walcott, who's known for carrying wieners in his pocket, some of which are made from the remains of his adversaries. Also, we see Clarabelle, played by Angel Tompkins. She plays Mary Ann's wife, who resides in an opulent houseboat adorned with mirrors on the ceiling of the bedroom. This setting takes a clear departure from the classic realms of Cagney and Bogart. We're presented with a fantastical narrative where events unfold simply and predominantly outdoors, with characters interacting with striking directness and brutality. The movie may draw some influence from Hitchcock, as many thrillers we see do. One real notable scene occurs at a county fair, where Marvin and a young girl, played by Sissy Spacek, attempt to evade Hackman's henchmen. They navigate this perilous situation in plain sight, strolling casually in front of the grandstands filled with spectators, rendering the gunman unable to fire. Now, this sequence also seems somewhat bizarre because of all the gunfire prior to this, with hundreds of fairgoers strolling willy-nilly between the bullets. Finally escaping the fairgrounds, we see an exhilarating chase through a wheat field, where Marvin and the girl are pursued by a massive combine. The production uses a telephoto lens to create the illusion that the machine is nearly upon them. Then their escape is facilitated by Marvin's chauffeur as he collides the limousine into the Reaper, effectively neutralizing the threat. It's also really noteworthy that throughout the chase scenes at the fairgrounds and with the combine, Marvin consistently maintains his grip on the girl's hand, despite the fact that both could achieve greater speed if they were not holding hands, and could even go separate ways to evade the combine. This serves as a striking visual representation of the film's male dominance, a theme that was evident earlier during Gene Hackman's cattle auction. In that scene, the cattle are depicted as fresh, naked young girls, confined in straw-filled pens, as these girls have been raised in a specialized orphanage and are certified virgins that are available for purchase to supply local brothels. The production is divided into several prominent segments, including the introduction, the journey to Kansas City, Marvin's rescue of one of the orphan girls, a few romantic interludes, the fairgrounds, the Reaper, and the gunfight. This structure is significantly less intricate than those found in a traditional gangster film, giving it an expansive feel that transcends the typical cinematic experiences. The colors are much more vivid, and the characters interact solely with each other's exaggerated personas. It's said that Gene Hackman accepted the secondary role of Mary Ann because it was his first offer of work after being unemployed for nearly 6 months since the end of filming of The French Connection from 1971. Lee Marvin, the lead, had a serious feud with the director Michael Ritchie during the production because Ritchie wanted him to have love scenes with the young actress Sissy Spacek, and Marvin didn't like this idea at all. He felt that it showed real disrespect for this young, naive actress. Now, having Lee Marvin in any movie is going to spice it up, from his on-screen performance to the things that went on during production. He's always known as a hard-boiled, tough guy who we have seen for years in dozens of movies, like The Professionals from 1966, The Dirty Dozen from 1967, Paint Your Wagon from 1969, and Point Blank from 1967. As he got into the 1970s, he had fewer bad guy roles than he had in earlier years. In 1971, he was sued by his live-in girlfriend, Michelle Triola, who had legally changed her surname to Marvin. Although the couple never married, she sought financial compensation similar to that available to spouses under California's alimony and community property laws. She claimed that Marvin made her pregnant 3 times and paid for 2 abortions, while one pregnancy ended in miscarriage, and that the second abortion left her unable to bear children in the future. Marvin was ordered to pay $104,000 to her for rehabilitation purposes, but the court denied her community property claim for half of the $3.6 million which Marvin had earned during their 6-year cohabitation. The very opening scene of the film takes place at a slaughterhouse, and it's so explicit that it's been cited by viewers of the film as a reason for them to become vegetarians. You'll also notice that all the orphan girls are named after flowers, and the most specific of these is Sissy Spacek's character, with her name of Poppy. This was her feature film debut, and what a way to dive into Hollywood. She was asked on her first excursion down this highway to remove all her clothes for quite a few scenes. Here we have a girl who started out singing solos in church to doing this. She found this mortifying, but she knew she had to do it to break into the system. She decided to jump right into it, nudity and all, starving herself to get real skinny and hoping that nobody would notice that she wasn't wearing clothes. She states that there's one person that for sure knew she wasn't, and that was her mother, who was appalled. And I think every one of the audience members knew that you were in your birthday suit, Sissy. Go back and watch this really fun film. I think you might enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.